For decades, India responded to international provocations with quiet diplomatic patience. Today, they answer by projecting hard power thousands of miles beyond their borders. When a catastrophic earthquake leveled parts of Turkey in 2023, India was among the first nations to respond. New Delhi immediately deployed specialized National Disaster Response Force teams, flying in medical supplies, and establishing emergency field hospitals to pull Turkish civilians from the rebel under a mission named Operation Dost. But that humanitarian lifeline did not alter Turkey's political posture. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan continued to use the United Nations General Assembly as a platform to back Pakistan and challenge India's sovereignty in Kashmir. Turkish support extended into active military collaboration. Ankara began supplying Islamabad with advanced military hardware, including combat drones specifically intended for use against the Indian military. This alignment is part of a broader effort to build a new Islamic military bloc with Pakistan and Azerbaijan. By leading this strategic axis, Erdogan aims to challenge the traditional influence of Saudi Arabia and position Turkey as the dominant political voice. The Turkish government operated on the assumption that India would remain a passive, soft power state. But that miscalculation pushed New Delhi to replace its traditional diplomacy with a policy of direct military leverage. India's response is a doctrine known as offensive defense. The strategy is calculated. New Delhi will now heavily arm the direct regional rivals of any nation that sponsors Pakistani aggression. We can see the first application of this strategy in the Caucasus. Here, Turkey and its ally Azerbaijan are locked in a persistent border conflict against neighboring Armenia. To counter the military advantage Turkey provided to Azerbaijan, India moved to become Armenia's primary defense partner. India is now exporting high-grade lethal weaponry to the Armenian front lines, including Swathi weapon-locating radars and Panaka multi-barrel rocket launchers. These weapon sales are designed to deplete the military resources of Turkey's primary ally, forcing Ankara to focus on instability along its own borders rather than interfering in South Asia. But India's most severe pressure point targets Turkey's deepest geographic vulnerability, the island of Cyprus. In 1878, Cyprus was part of the Ottoman Empire, but by 1974, the Turkish military invaded the northern territory of the island, taking control of roughly a third of the landmass. That invasion left Cyprus permanently fractured, with a militarized United Nations buffer zone separating the two sides to this day. This map highlights Turkey's modern blue homeland doctrine. These expanding shapes show Turkey's attempts to absorb maritime territory and exclusive economic zones that legally belong to Greece and Cyprus. In direct response to Turkish provocations, India initiated high-level diplomatic upgrades and accelerated defense negotiations directly with the Republic of Cyprus. The centerpiece of these negotiations is a highly specific asset, the BrahMos supersonic cruise missile. As this map illustrates, the export variant of the BrahMos carries a confirmed strike range of 290 kilometers. When projected from the Cypriot coast, that 290-kilometer radius creates an impenetrable military bubble. The range completely swallows Turkey's contested maritime claims, physically preventing Turkish naval vessels from operating safely in those waters. By offering to station this missile system in the Mediterranean, New Delhi has gained the power to paralyze Turkey's naval strategy in its own backyard. The realization that they are being strategically boxed in by advanced Indian weaponry has caused immediate alarm within the Turkish government. We are seeing a sharp reversal in their tone. Turkish officials are now making public statements pleading for a de-escalation of tensions with India. Turkey is now officially urging India to separate the bilateral relationship from Ankara's ties with Islamabad, a sharp shift from the aggressive rhetoric of years past. This represents a major evolution in how India handles its adversaries. New Delhi has successfully turned its domestic defense industry into a tool of strategic attrition. India's offensive defense doctrine establishes a new global reality. For nations like Turkey, the price of sponsoring anti-India proxy conflicts is now a high-tech military threat deployed directly onto their own borders.